In this question, we're told that cyclopropane is a compound with the formula C3H6. We're asked about the mole ratio between the compound and the elements within the compound. So in C3H6, we've got 3 carbons and we've got 6 hydrogens. So our mole ratio is that for 1 mole of our compound C3H6, we have 3 moles of carbon and we have 6 moles of hydrogen. Our next step is figuring out how many moles of our compound C3H6 contain 54 moles of hydrogen. So we're going to be using our conversion factor method to convert between moles of C3H6 and moles of hydrogen. So from the mole ratio we wrote up here, we know that 1 mole of C3H6 contains 6 moles of hydrogen. So that's going to be our conversion factor. We've got 54 moles of hydrogen written as our question, and I want to convert moles of hydrogen into moles of C3H6. So I'm going to put moles of hydrogen on the bottom and moles of C3H6 on the top. Then I need to put in my numbers from my conversion factor. 1 mole of C3H6 contains 6 moles of hydrogen. So there's my conversion table. Now I just need to multiply everything on the top and divide by everything on the bottom. The moles of hydrogen cancel out, and I end up with 54 times 1 divided by 6, which gets me 9 moles of C3H6 as my answer. So we can fill that in our answer box here. Let's do one more question of this type. In this question, we have aluminum sulfate, which has the formula Al2SO4 3. So our first step is figuring out our mole ratio between the compound and the elements. So our formula is Al2SO4 3. So in there, we've got 2 Als. Then we've got 3 sets of SO4. So that means we've got 3 S, sulfur. For oxygen, we've got 3 sets of O4. So that's going to be 4 times 3, which is 12 total oxygens. So to complete our mole ratio, in 1 mole of Al2SO4 3, we've got 2 moles of aluminum, 3 moles of sulfur, and 12 moles of oxygen. Next, we need to figure out how many moles of oxygen are there in 3 moles of Al2SO4 3. So we're starting with 3 moles of Al2SO4 3, and we need to go from that into moles of oxygen. So looking at our mole ratio that we wrote, we can see that 1 mole of Al2SO4 3 contains 12 moles of oxygen. So that's going to be our conversion factor we're using here. Moles of Al2SO4 3 are going to go on the bottom since we're trying to cancel that out, and moles of oxygen are going on the top since that's what we're trying to find. We know we have 1 mole of Al2SO4 3 for every 12 moles of oxygen. So now we just multiply it on the top and divide by everything on the bottom. The moles of Al2SO4 3 are going to cancel out, which leaves us with 3 multiplied by 12 divided by 1, which gets us an answer of 36 moles of oxygen. So we can go ahead and fill that in our answer box. So in these questions, all we need to do is count how many of each element we have in one formula unit of our compound and use that to find our mole ratio. Then we're using our conversion table, the same as usual, to figure out how many moles of a given compound contain how many moles of a given element.